So, Michael, welcome back to the show, mate. You reached out to us for this.
I did. Yeah, I felt it's been a while. I've also feel I've got over quite a lot, so I figured I might just try and get over even more, uh, and just jump on just podcasts and just get myself out there whilst I'm striking the iron whilst it's hot, as they say. So
There you
thanks for
go.
having us back on. So I appreciate
Always
you
a
coming back
pleasure,
on.
man. Always a pleasure. I mean, like I said, it's been 8 months, obviously, since we've last chatted. How would you describe that 8 month?
Whirlwind. Whirlwind. You've probably noticed there's a different backdrop now. So I've moved from one house to the other, quite clearly, but round the corner. So it wasn't that too much of a hassle with moving furniture. But Heel Turn Media just went up a notch. And I feel like I've got a show every other weekend, which is lovely. And it's also just branding as well. Get that in there whilst I'm at it as well. I've just got myself a full catalogue of merch. It's like a catalogue just regurgitated, Heel Turn Media all over it. So it's just nice to be on fire or over, as they say.
There you go. I mean, let's obviously start, mate. Obviously, you were at Kingdom Wrestling yesterday. How was it?
Incredible. It's the first time I've covered Kingdom Wrestling. And do you know what it is? The welcome that I got is what I absolutely love about wrestling. I haven't come across it before, but wrestling shows that come over and say, hello, my name is XYZ, love your stuff. Thank you so much for being here. What do you need from us? And 9 times out of 10, I don't need anything from them. The only thing I really need is who's doing the high flying stuff, who's doing big hitting stuff. Are there any spots in particular that you want me to capture? And then the rest, I just wing it. That's all I really do. To be fair, I'll just cover bits and bobs. If I can sense a big spot coming, that's great. First time I filmed in a church, which was, do you know what it was? It sounds strange, but it's on my filming bucket list because I see that True Grit film. I think it's in a cathedral, and I thought, you know what, if I can get into a church, it might be one of those like weird filming bucket list things, which it does sound weird, but it was like it was actually quite a homely venue to film in, and the fact that Richard Holiday was there was the bonus. I think everyone that was there was to support Kingdom, but just because they wanted to see quite easily one of the hottest indie wrestlers going at the minute with what he's doing on socially, and it was unreal to be part of.
One of the questions we got from the fan questions was from Fast Count, and it says, how was the drive back?
Do you know what it was? The drive there was horrific, right? Because I'm a home bird, so I don't mind traveling to wrestling shows. But if it's somewhere I've never really been before, I get quite nervous and stressy driving because I just don't want to mess it up. I don't want to get lost. I don't want to be late. And the sat nav, it was my fault to be fair. I kept missing turnings or getting turnings wrong. So the sat nav just kept going, you need to do a U-turn. You need to do this. What you doing, pal? I don't even know who's driving anymore. I don't even know what's going on anymore. So I wasn't late. I was in plenty of time to get the show. Thankfully, I left early from work and I had that bit of leeway to get lost a little bit. But the drive back was so much quicker than it was getting there. And it was bliss. I thought I'm going to have a stressy McDonald's just to cure the nerves. Didn't need it. I had a milkshake and I was flying. Flying. It was great.
You can't go wrong there. I mean, if I remember rightly, obviously way back's mainly motorway anyway, innit?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only hard part was just getting out of Bradford. I think where Kingdom are based, it's just outside Bradford. So getting out from there was fine. Once I got onto the A1, flying. Absolutely flying. Foot on the gas, legally, and flying. Got home in, I think, 2 hours, just shy of 2 hours. So I don't mind stuff like that. I actually enjoy, as much as stressy as it is, I do love going out and getting out and about for for wrestling shows like that, because it not only adds to my portfolio or gives them content, wherever they are, but also I can say, well, I've been there and I've been there and I've been there, and it's a nice little checklist to have. To get up to Scotland is on the list as well. Ireland, big on Ireland. I mean, I was going to go to Cork to do a Richard Holiday like coverage, but I just couldn't get over there. Logistically and financially, I just couldn't get over there. I didn't realize how much traveling there is to do to get to Cork. So that'll be it. I've messaged the wrestling company that are hosting Richard Holiday. I'll be going back at some point this year. Yeah, it's just those kind of things I love doing. I mean, that's why I love independent wrestling, because it's just not one show that's not on in somewhere in the UK. And it's just, it would be nice to just branch out and get out and do more, like Kingdom Wrestling. But at the same time, it's like, how much fuel can I afford? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it does cost. I mean, we all know at the minute the fuel's gone up. So going anywhere like Kingdom was like possibly like a one hit for the time being until things just calm down, petrol-wise or fuel-wise. Other than that, I would love to, once things do calm down, I would absolutely love to go back to Scotland, even go to, like, to say Target in Carlisle. Even maybe go a bit further than Bradford. Not so much London. I get the train, because let's face it, if I try driving London, I ain't coming back. You'll just see me going round and round about, just getting lost, getting beeped at. I'll be that person that everyone gets that beeps at. Learn how to drive. That's me. That's the guy. That's me.
Oh dear. The other fan question we got, and I'm curious to get your response on this. He says, why is he so adamant Pep stays at Man City? In brackets, from Harry.
Hashtag Pep in. Do you know what it is? So if people don't know, I'm a Sunderland fan, right? So the back and forth we have on Instagram is whenever Man City lose, there's a meltdown, and straight away I'll get in and say hashtag Pep in, hashtag Pep out. And he does the same for me if there's a bad game. But he's got family in Sunderland, so he's kind of like tied to Sunderland. So I don't mind that. If he was the other way around, I'd definitely be like saying how in, how out, all that stuff. But yeah, Sunderland fan, and I've been a Sunderland fan since I can remember, and it's just nice to just have that bit of banter away from wrestling and to talk to people that, although I am almost obsessed with wrestling, there is that fallback of football or sports in general, really, that I like to fall back on. And yeah, Pep in if City lose, Pep out if they win a trophy. For me, anyways.
Oh dear. So, like I said, obviously it was 8 months ago you've been on the show. One of the biggest things, which I think we should have been at this show today, is wrestling in Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't know obviously what you can obviously talk about, mate, but I've got to be honest, from my point of view, and I'm obviously talking from a fan's point of view, pretty sad that obviously the show's no longer running.
Yeah, gutted. I think, like yourself, Robbie, who does the camera work there, even some of I've had fans who used to go to Wrestling Newcastle, like DMers on TikTok, and say they're absolutely gutted about it just going, because it's probably one of the biggest, for me, it was one of the biggest family-friendly shows in the Northeast. There's some great promotions around the Northeast, don't get me wrong, but when you look at who was going to those shows, like your Harley Hudsons, your Saxons, people who have been on mainstream wrestling channels or on wrestling channels like WWE, TNA, and it's not there anymore. They don't have that outreach, and potentially they might have to go a bit further to see a family-friendly show. It was really sad. That week, I lost one show, and then that news came through a couple of days later, and it almost sent us spiraling, because I was more gutted about Wrestling Newcastle, because Wrestling Newcastle gave me the chance. They opened the door for me to get involved with wrestling media, and I'd be forever in debt to Benji and his team for giving an outsider like me a chance to go, all right, let's see what he can do. And I'm a big believer in you've got to grab the bull by the horns, or grab this opportunity by the scruff of the neck, or kick the door in, as The Rock once said. if opportunity arises, if the door opens, kick it in. And that's what I did. And thankfully, that resulted in me being part of the media team there. And it was unreal to be part of, because it was a networking opportunity for wrestlers to introduce who I am, what I can do, if they need help with social stuff, or if they just need some photos, or even a promo made, to put my name in front of talent that are being fast tracked to go on to greater things. Like I would say George Hunter. In 5 years' time, if he's not signed up to an AEW, NXT, TNA, I'll be shocked, because I think watching what he does is almost similar to what Leon Slater's doing. For me, people might go, "You're mad," but you look how athletic he is. He's just throwing himself about, and it looks flawless. And to network with those wrestlers, and now I've lost that, and not have those North and Wrestling Newcastle days. Like it's sad, because I love those days. Do you know what I mean? It's the refs, it's the talent, it's the media team, it's behind the scenes people, it's the volunteers, just everyone like that. Just now, it's just, those weekends are on the schedule at the minute, and it's sad. You know what I mean? It's I am gutted that wrestling in Newcastle is gone, and it just means that for media people like myself, we have to try and branch out a bit further and go, okay, where can I stretch myself to? Where can I utilize my talents or my kit? Thankfully, places like Kingdom and Wrestling would have me come down, like last night. I'm at Shields Pro tonight. I was hoping to get to ICW, but I think 3 shows in 1 weekend and especially going to Scotland, would absolutely kill me. But I would do it if it was an opportunity, because I love wrestling. So yeah, mate, I know how good you were as well when we messaged to say, like, I can't believe it's gone. Like your post as well, like it just hit home, because you were there regardless, and you're part of it. You're reporting it. We had you on doing the Vox Pops, I remember, and it was like a breath of fresh air to hear you talk about who your favorite wrestlers were, who was your highlights, and it's not there. I don't know if it's going to come back or not. Hopefully it does. Touch wood. That it does come back, because it was just, like I mentioned, a wonderful network and opportunity. And I do feel North will always be top dog for the Northeast in terms of wrestling. I think you've got like Rev Pro, Progress, ICW, and North, right? If you go from top to bottom, ICW, North, Progress for Midlands, I would say, and Rev Pro for London. I think that's where they're mostly based. And North is there, and it's a top dog. It'll always be top dog for me. And Wrestling Newcastle was getting to be a close second. Family friendly wise, it would probably be top dog for family friendly stuff, because of, like I mentioned before, what talent were coming through the doors or who was getting booked. And now I feel sorry for fans who loved the product and the shows, and now have to try and branch out and look for another family-friendly show. And don't get me wrong, there's all these shows happening that tour up and down the country, which is a great avenue to go to if you want to get that wrestling fix. But it just depends on who's in the card, I suppose. I mean, how are you feeling afterwards? I know it was your bit of escapism. I mean, you've got the Grand Slam poster there, I can see. Like, how are you feeling after it?
I mean, look, you mentioned that Grand Slam poster. I mean, just looking at that poster alone, 13 people just on that poster has been on this show. Do you know what I mean? That's excluding, like, yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like the referees, like Benji. So you were talking 20 people who's been on this show. So for me, I remember exactly where I was. I was on the way to PPW for their Friday night show, and it came up on my phone that Newcastle had posted something. I'm like, oh, do you like a match graphic or something?
Yeah.
And then obviously from then it's like, oh, okay. And yeah, it took me about a week to obviously digest it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same. It was. I said I lost two shows had gone in a week for me, and it really hit hard. Like mentally, it battered me because it was a double loss. And with things like that, like for a fan, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? For me, it was like, all right, have I done something wrong? Is it my fault that it's happened? If I've done something wrong? And that's just the overthinker in me, just the mental aspect of me, just clicking into a million gears all at once. The overthinker, just going from 0 to to fifth gear real fast. But it's not. That's the thing. Unfortunately, things happen, and these shows come and go, and it's just sad that Wynn's gone. Like it. You mentioned the poster. How many people have been on the show? Look on that poster. Look how talented. Like I've got like posters there from Wrestling Newcastle. Just the talent on there, like Lorna Austin, Brady Phillips, sorry, like Shreddy, Ian Skinner. Do you know what I mean? Like just, and now we've just like kind of just like lost the access to it now. And like you, I'm gutted that it's gone.
It's funny you mentioned Ian Skinner because obviously I mentioned I went to PPW and he was the first wrestler I saw there. And even he said the same thing. It was really just sad. He didn't go into detail much because, again, I'm only a fan. You obviously works like behind the scenes. You'll obviously know more than me. But Ian Skinner was the first guy I actually saw when I went to PPW when the news broke. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. I messaged Ian as well. I just said I was gutted, and he was gutted as well. So, because Ian Skinner was like one of the first wrestlers that I started to talk to, as well as Henry Faust, and Ian Skinner would always be the little thing would be take a picture of me with his hot dog, because obviously the joke is like, oh, this for a hot dog and a pint stuff, like, you know what I mean, and a can of monster and a hot dog, and I'll just every time it would just get a snap of the hot dog, and it was just one of those things that I quite enjoyed. Another branch of wrestling in Newcastle gone, like for that reason alone. So it almost was like a breakup, like a really bad breakup, didn't it?
It does.
Like you go through the different stages of grief, and it's mad how much of an impact the show had on us, not just you, me, and everyone else.
Exactly. So obviously one final question before we move on is, let's say obviously Newcastle, we don't know if they're going to come back. Like I said, we don't know. But what do you think the legacy is for Newcastle, wrestling in Newcastle?
The best family-friendly show you'll ever go to, because it had a storyline. It wasn't a show where it had people show up and wrestle. That's it. There was a storyline to it. It was what you got the vibe from Wrestling Newcastle is they were trying to implement a WWE, AEW style wrestling. Like if people didn't have access to Netflix, because let's face it, Netflix is quite expensive, or to go see WWE, it is quite expensive, unfortunately. Whereas if you pay the same price if you paid all that money, say like £100 on a Wrestling Newcastle show, you could get almost an unlimited supply of beer, some hot dogs, some snacks, and merch, and maybe have some change afterwards.
And a meet and greet.
And a meet and greet as well, depending on what show does them. So yeah, the storylines you would love, because like when Shreddy winning the title, who was he going to win it off? Was he going to be at this show, at that show, at this show? There'd be teasers, and then you would have like Rampage coming into the fold, Adam Bold coming into the fold, just little things like that. And then you would have the female title go down as well, the women's title with Melissa Fierce holding it, and then a storyline going down there, and then Holly Hudson coming and challenging for it. Just, yeah, the storyline stuff, you got the impression the big push was, let's make it as close to WWE as possible with these storylines, tell some great stories through wrestling, entertain the audience in a family-friendly way, and keep coming back. For me, that's the vibe I got, and that's the message I was hoping that the stories and the product was doing. And you look at the meet and greets at the end, the meet and greets, the queues were, you kind of felt like everyone who was there stayed behind. I mean, not everyone can stay behind, because, you know, sometimes they've got to get home and what have you, and beat the rush, beat the traffic, and particularly if there's a Newcastle game on, get home for that. But 9 times out of 10, I would be putting my kit away, and it would take me about half an hour because I'm chatting and yapping. And there's still a queue for the meet and greets to buy shirts, take pictures with wrestlers, talk to wrestlers. It was incredible. You just saw how popular it was. You would see the same faces show up week in, week out. And we should have been at a show today, like you mentioned. We should have been at a show today. I should have been getting my kit ready right now to start driving over and to get there for call time. And now I'm not, like, you know what I mean? I've got my free afternoon talking to yourself, which I'm always thankful for, but I'm going to watch a Morpeth game later on after this. So, do you know what I mean? I'm trying to keep myself busy until I have to do another show tonight, which I can't wait for. Doesn't matter what level the shows are. If I can get to wrestling and put them on the map a little bit with what I do, bonus. If it helps them with content stuff, bonus. That's the target for me. If there's a payment there, bonus. But I put in a video. I'm not fueled by money. It's the love of wrestling that I do it for.
Yeah, just to expand on obviously what you said, for me, it's all about opportunities and friendships I've built. Like I said, yourself, Benji, Stevie, Katie, Rich. You know what I mean? These all friendships are built because of wrestling in Newcastle.
Yeah, I agree. Like the refs, Katie in particular. Katie was one of the first refs I ever spoke to. She was a darling, Katie. She's one of my good friends in wrestling now. I'll talk to Katie about anything that's on my mind, and she's a wonderful human being. Rich, the same. I didn't know that Rich collected trading cards. There's an avenue. Now I'm talking to him about, I've bought this card now. Even the trading cards, yeah, look. Bought all these trading cards, yeah. Because of Rich. Because of Rich and me mate from Running Club. All these cards, signed cards, throwing money at it. Just because so I can just keep in contact with people like that. It's just, that bubble. We've both lost that bubble for the time being. They'll be at shows. They'll always be at shows. Like Sandy will be at, like, for instance, like Rise last week. Saw Sandy there, caught up with her. There's always going to be opportunities to see who you make friends with, but just not as frequently or as consistently as we were used to, you know?
Exactly. So one of the things you mentioned earlier is obviously you've rebranded a lot. Talk about obviously the process, how that all came about.
So the old Instagram account launched. I can't remember if I said this back in the old chat. It was off an old media account that I started just in time for COVID. Perfect timing. What better time to start a brand new business than when everything was shut down? Perfect timing. So I launched that account, and then I realized real quick that it's not going to work because of COVID, and it's probably going to take years to come back from. So it was asleep. And then in 2024, during a golf lesson, my coach had said, why don't you do a service that caters to every sport? You know what you're doing, like socially, videography, photography. Why don't you cater for all sports? Thought, crikey, right, okay. So I gave it a go. And then I thought I could give this 6 months to a year, and if I see any growth, we'll know what's going on. Within 3 or 4 months, I was pivoting to wrestling straight away because that's where most of the hits came from. I had a photography account. I've got so many accounts, honestly. I had a photography account, and I was using that to showcase not just my landscape stuff, but my wrestling stuff. And then I noticed that the audience had dipped off that because I was posting so much wrestling stuff. When I did post the street stuff or landscape stuff, it just dipped. So then I thought, actually, maybe wrestling, maybe if I can tie in wrestling and everything within wrestling, like social media and videography and photography, I could make it work. It just didn't. Flatlined from start to finish. I just couldn't get it going. No matter how hard I tried, no matter who I collaborated with, no matter who I tagged, no matter if someone shared it out of the blue, like Rich, for instance, the refs and stuff, if they shared it, Wrestling Newcastle shared it, I just couldn't get anything going from it. There was no traction. Posts would just stop dead. And it was disheartening and stressful because if you're trying to promote yourself as a social media person and your stuff's not working, the trust issue is immediately brought up thinking, well, he's not getting much success here. Why should I align with that person? Thankfully, Skylar Rose was my first client, and thankfully, it worked really well. Recently, I've had to stop it because I just don't have the time, and I want to focus on the wrestling stuff. At the start of the year, so fast forward, start of the year, I thought I'm going to start a brand new account. I'll give it 6 months. If it's not anywhere near where my old account is, I'll know just to stop it altogether and just show up as a person who does videography for wrestling. No brand, no nothing. And it just took off. It just absolutely took off. and now it's busy, a really good busy. It's lovely to see. I'm talking to wrestlers I've never spoken to before. People are DMing to say, love what you do, keep up the good work, love this. It's mad to just to say, like, Kingdom Wrestling, for instance. I walked in there last night. Nikki, I bumped into Nikki and Wrestling Jeebus, and Nikki was like, "You're heel turn media," and then someone else said, "Oh, great! Yeah, I thought it was heel turn media. I saw walk. I thought, oh, it's heel turn media. I cannot get used to that. I cannot. Normally, it would inflate the ego of someone to the point where the head wouldn't fit through the door. Oh, I'm the other way. I'm like, oh, right. Nice to meet you. Cover the badge. Nice to meet you. Like, I'm really shy when it comes to stuff like I can't get over it. That's the thing. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. But the branding aspect from following the Instagram stuff, I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna have to get a new logo. I'm gonna have to get. If I'm gonna take this seriously, I'm gonna have to get a logo. I'm gonna have to get a flyer made, and I know just the person. And that's Elliot, the graphic designer who does the graphic stuff you've got on your posters. These posters, he's done graphics for all kinds of wrestlers, and he's probably the best for me in the business right now. And the guy is a sleeping giant. So he's getting a shout out from me because he's a sleeping giant. He is. In a world where AI is just taking over everything and it's just rank, I genuinely feel sorry for folk like Elliot who are putting in graft and getting put aside for a couple of words in a prompt. And that really bothers me that unfortunately that's the case. And I get it because it's a cost thing. But if you want your show to be successful in my eyes, you bring in a graphic designer and you work with them to a budget to get a certain amount. What can I get for this amount? What can I get for this amount? And I can guarantee you, some of them will say, you'll get this from me, like a basic thing. And Elliot's the perfect person to talk to. And without Elliot, I wouldn't have this or anything like that, like in terms of having support and getting people to reach out. And I'll tag Elliot in stuff that I work with all the time on like X. I'll tag him in it. I'll see a post on X. I'll straight away say to him, if you deserve this, or I'll promote him on X. I'll promote him on social media, across social media, because the kid deserves it. He's good at what he does. So getting in touch with Elliot was a no-brainer where I thought, right, if I'm going to take it seriously, what's the earliest memory that you've got from wrestling? And it's Sting, WCW, the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era for me was the turning point where I started to really love wrestling. Sting and WCW, like Nitro Thunder. That was what's this? Oh, this guy's cool. I'm going to follow him because he seems like a good guy. He seems like the Batman of wrestling with a baseball bat. And even though like the final match was probably one of the worst matches to talk about ever, the fact that kind of like planted the seed to go, okay, what other options are there? And that was when WWF at the time bought out WCW. And then there was the Attitude Era. So I thought, okay, well, the Attitude Era means a lot to me. So maybe can we have a sort of like a what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Like a sort of an idea plucked from it, and how can I put my spin on it? So not like a carbon copy of the Attitude Era. It's what can we do to just like make it, if people look at it and go, that reminds me of the Attitude Era, that kind of thing, that kind of concept, that kind of idea. And Elliot came back with like 3 banging ideas. And I thought, you know what? I like this idea and this idea. Can we make it a hybrid? And that was when the logo came about. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And without hesitation, I got in touch with a printing company through a friend I used to go to school with. Can't believe I didn't remember. I put it out there on social media. Where can I get prints done? And I had so many people messaging me back, which I was very thankful for. But my mate texted us to say, my brother does it. What are you doing? Yeah. So like, I just got in touch straight away and got it done. And it's for me, it's not just about make myself. Well, it's almost like an advertising board, really. But if I can go to a show and wear my branding and logos and stuff like that, people might search for it online and go, we need him, or oh, that's who you are. Oh, right, okay. That's what I did it for, to just make people aware of who I am. I'm obviously with the camera, so you know what I'm doing. I'm either taking a picture or taking videos. And it's a sort of like a, well, have a look for us on social media. If you find me and you want me at your show, just drop me a message. Perfect. I'm happy to come to you. If I can get it to work, I'll come to you. Not if you're based in like America. I mean, like the credit card have to take a serious hit for America, but that's what I did it for, and I absolutely love it. I'm buzzing off it still, and it's been what, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5, 6 since I've had the logos out there, and the flyers just done exactly what I wanted it to do, to just put my name out there for the wrestling world to see, and maybe even other sports too.
Yeah, absolutely. I never asked. I mean, I get the name, but how did the name come about? Heel Turn Media.
So the term came about when I was looking at concepts of what I can build my brand on, and I wanted to keep in within wrestling. And I don't know what it is, but I've got a soft spot for a good old heel turn. I love a good and proper kick in the bollocks heel turn. I love it. I absolutely love it. So this was well before the John Cena heel turn, well before the Randy Orton stuff. But I'm just a big fan of a heel turn, and I always, sometimes, I don't know what it must be, the Star Wars fan in me. I love Darth Vader, so everyone calls him the greatest villain of all time, and people worship him. I love a dark horse. I love a villainous dark horse. So when Seth was heel, he was cheered as a heel, and I know it's frowned upon in the IWC, but for me, I'm like, I love it, me. Like Randy Orton being a heel, I love it, me. Like, even though the John Cena heel turn was okay, wasn't great, but it was okay. Like the heel turn, absolute cinema for me. But I'm always a big fan of heel turns, and for me, even though I hate when people use AI to generate posters and pictures and what have you, I tend to use AI for work and data purposes, to help me out with data, and to help me out with if I'm stuck with something, like say grammatically, or if I'm trying to write something but I can't figure out how the best way to figure it out. So I just asked Google Gemini, give me some names that I love this is what I like, this is what I do. Can you give me some names? And it just gave me about 10 names. Some of them were absolutely rubbish. Like someone would say like slapstick cameras, or super kick photography. And I thought, no. And then the top one was just heel turn media. And I thought, why didn't I think of that? You love heel turns. Slap the media on the end of it. What's going on here? So that's how it came about. It was a concept of loving being a fan of a good old heel turn, and just using AI in a, if you could say, a positive way, to try and just flash out what I need and what I'm looking for in terms of a name, even though it's absolutely obvious what it could have been if I'd have thought about it, but obviously I didn't.
Dear. What's some obviously gripes when it comes to photography? What does your head in?
For me, it's sometimes, and it's not the fault of like wrestlers or promoters. It's people asking for photos like this really quickly, and I get it. I'm very high on getting photos and videos out as soon as I possibly can. Photos wise can take, for me, up to 2 weeks sometimes, because I don't just sit and click auto. I like to sit and dissect the photo. If it's a good photo, I'll dissect it and add like a specific look and a specific tone. And can I make it darker? Can I make it lighter? What's the story behind this photo? I know that, like, say, I think Near Dark Photography, David, he pumps his out really, really quickly. That's his full-time gig. If I could do it full-time, I'd be right there in saying, yep, I can get these out within 48 hours to you. I don't, unfortunately. My free time is my weekends. So I can't, and I can't dictate too much of my weekends because I don't want to be away from my partner. I don't want to be away from friends for too much, I don't want to be locked away in an office for 24 hours, 40 hours of looking at the same screen and having my eyes already knackered to start with. I don't want to add to it and go from really blind, from almost blind to completely and potentially totally blind in one eye or whatever not. And so, yeah, I would love to do it full time. And for me, the gripe is, it's not a gripe. It's just like, give us a bit of time to get this photo right for you, or you can have it and it's just like half-arsed. And it's the same with videos. If I can do it there and then during the interval, I'll do it. I'll get a quick video out, like the Richard Holiday video. I did that during the interval, really quickly, get it uploaded, put my look on it, a couple of tweaks to tone down stuff, and then it was ready to go on the nighttime. So it's just, that's only like a minor gripe. There's not really much that grinds me gears because some things you can't avoid. Like if an audience member gets in the way of your shot, that can't be helped. But if it's constantly in the way, you have to potentially say something or just move. Trying to remember spots for shots as well is not the gripe from the wrestler, but my personal gripe from me. So a wrestler will go, he has the build up. This is what the spot's going to be. Take the picture at this point. And then I'll completely forget what's just been said. And I'll go, oh no. And as the camera's pointing that way and I'm looking at what's going on. I don't really have gripes like when it comes to things like that. I think it's just the thing I mentioned there was just trying to get out pictures really quickly and quality wise, because I'm too much of a perfectionist. That's what I am, too much of a perfectionist. If I could do it full time, like your graps on film and your near dark photography, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Mark Ashley films, I'd do it in a heartbeat. If I was working this full time, yeah, 100% pumped out. But unfortunately, I can't. Like my hands are a little bit tied, which maybe one day it'll be full time. I would love that, but it's not the fault of it's nowhere near the fault of a wrestler or a show to like think, oh, I'll just ask for the photos immediately because they might have had it immediately from another media person. But I'm a big perfectionist with stuff like that, so it could take me a week, 2 weeks to just get out maybe a couple of clips and a handful of photos for me, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just like to be a perfectionist.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say then timing plays a big part in obviously your photography?
Timing?
Yeah,
big style. I think for me, if I just like give an example of just how I'd operate a post show, if it's photography or videography, the first thing I do is back everything up immediately onto the hard drive. That could take about half an hour or 45 minutes because it's just so many files and huge files, like 5-10 gig video clips, 100 megabyte photos that are raw. Then it's dumping them into the editing software, which can take 10 to 15 minutes. And then it's sifting through the good clips, the bad clips, the clips that are out of focus, the clips that are about 2 seconds long that I've pressed record accidentally by, or just not, or missed something completely. Photos if they're blurred out of focus, just going through and culling all those shots, which could take possibly a day, 2 hours, depending on how much time I've got. And then it's the editing process, which for videos can take hours. One clip could take, a 60-second clip could take like 2 or 3 days to get nailed. Or if I'm logging in a day's worth of editing, like a 10-second clip could take like 3 or 4 hours to edit because I've got to color grade it. I've got to add a look to it. I've got to make sure the audio is fine. I need to make sure it's in focus. Cutting it down to make sure that it fits in a narrative at some point. And if it looks crap, like if the move doesn't quite finish off the way that it was supposed to be intended, I have to delete that. And just that's the time of it. Or it's hours. And people might work differently. People might be able to have that ability to just like plug in, play, hit auto, and pump it out, which is fine. I've got no gripe about that whatsoever. But it's just how I work. I like to take my time with the edits if I possibly can. If there's a rush for a clip, which I mentioned before, I'm really big on striking when the iron's hot. So if it's a show, get clips out across that week if I can. If I can really like knuckle down and get like 4 clips edited really quickly, then it gives me a bit of breathing space to get more clips saved for when things calm down, or if there's a build up to another show. Here's what happened last time. So timing's big. It's big, and using compared to football and golf and cricket and rugby, where they give you that bit of time, I'm having to learn quite quickly that wrestling's quite a snap, quick, get this out really quickly kind of industry. And I love it because it keeps you on your toes. For it's one of the best things about wrestling. But like I mentioned, I'm just so much of a perfectionist, and a person who likes to take time and make sure that it's the best possible clips and photos that show's going to have. Because for me, in the long run, if you put out quality stuff, you know, you got people who might come up and see the page and go, "Whoa, that's actually quite decent. I didn't know that this show was here." Oh, if this is the benchmark for what we're looking at, then I might pop along. Like North are brilliant at doing that. North are class at putting out clips and shows like on Patreon, like pristine quality, and you know what you're getting. You're not just getting like a half-assed, low-budget show. You're getting a premium show for a reasonable amount of money. Like with Thunderstruck, one of the best shows across the summer, I think, in the Northeast, easily for wrestling. And you're getting absolutely quality matches, but also quality media stuff as well. So there is a time element with wrestling, which I absolutely love, and I don't mind doing every now and then. But sometimes with the bigger clips, yeah, they have to. For me, it's like, can we take the time? What can I do to get the best clip out there?
Okay. So, in your opinion, what 3 elements make a good photographer?
Creativity, for one. I think if you go to a show and just point and shoot, then what are you hoping to get out of it? If that's all you know, that's fine. Creativity for me is, can you take a shot and make it look completely different to what you say on social media or out there, rather than just like if someone's about to go on a turnbuckle, rather than just taking a picture of the person on the turnbuckle, what about taking a picture of someone about to jump off, like the half a second before they're about to jump, or maybe mid jump, because you're telling the story then, aren't you, really?
Mm-hmm.
So creativity for me is big. Can you look at an angle and go, I'm going to try this? And then the editing process as well. How can I make this look a bit more standout? How can I make this look a bit more appealing? How can I make this look like, oh Christ, that's a really good picture of a wrestler, right? Okay, I like it. Secondly, I think patience. I think you've got to be patient for the moment during wrestling and sports, but also with, again, the editing process. You can't rush things, but sometimes it can be a bit messy. Other photographers might disagree, or videographers might disagree. But if you're not patient with the edit and you make a muck of it, then it might look bad on yourself if you're just pumping through these photos and you're not really editing much, and they just go, okay, well, they're fine to use, but we thought we were going to get this from you. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So patience, and also patience within yourself to learn different things. I didn't have like lessons, or I didn't go to I went to photography class. When I first picked up my camera, I didn't know what I was doing with it. I had to YouTube some of the stuff, and then I was brave enough to go to a beginner's photography class, which without that, I wouldn't know how to do videography, plain and simple. So patience to try new things like that. If you're starting off, to go to a photography class, go on YouTube. YouTube's a wonderful university to look at, to learn how to do things. That's how I learned how to do videography and edits. YouTube. I didn't go to uni for media studies or how to be a media person in there. I was a sports journalist. I just got told how to write. and how to structure an article and how to interview people. That's it. I didn't get told how to edit a video in the cinematic style. I had to learn how to do it. And lastly, I would say brave. I think if you don't, I'm a shy person to start off with, but I know to ask, I'm not shy to ask a company, do you want me to come along? Would you mind me coming along? And if they say no, okay, well, I've asked. It's not like I'm going to go, oh, well, okay, well, screw you. You're all lost, blah, 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 blah. Nah, no one's got time for that, man. I haven't got time for that. So brave to say and ask a wrestling show or a sports team or an athlete to go, okay, I'm getting started in photography, or finding my level in photography. Can I come along to a training session? Can I come along to a media day? Can I come along to a show? And can I just get some snaps just to try and find my groove, find my rhythm? And if you don't ask that, then you're not going to really know, then you're not going to really be able to ask people in person, can I come back? I can remember after doing my first North show last year, and it was wonderful feedback, and I loved it. And I thought, you know what, this is great. But then I didn't hear anything back, and I thought that was it, one and done. And I told myself mentally, if it's one North show you get to ever do, then you've already ticked off your achievements list to do a North show, because that was the target. In 3 years, do a North show. I did it within the first 6 months of starting Heel Turn Media. And it wasn't until Katie messaged to say, are you doing Thunderstruck 3? And I've said, no, I don't know. I haven't been asked back. Katie was like, get on, go talk to Bowers, Andrew, and ask if you want to go. Shy Bane's getting out. And she was right. And I say that to people who ask for advice. What do I do to get into more wrestling shows? How can I get involved with wrestling teams? Ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. And don't get downhearted if they say no, because some media teams are close-knit and they have like a system and the work in a certain way. And it's not your fault for not getting in, because if they've got like a certain track of how to get things done, that's okay. Just go back every couple of months to see if there's a window. I did that with Wrestling Newcastle in 2024 rather, and they thankfully were like, yeah, get yourself along. Cool, perfect. We'll do what you want. North I remember messaging North, and they were like, not at the minute right now. And I thought, you know what, that's fine, but at least you asked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking ICW, I was asking Target Wrestling, as well as anywhere in the region, and just be brave. That's what I was doing. I was just being brave and going, if you don't ask, you don't get. So that's for me is the thing. It's number one, creativity. Number two, patience. And number three, be brave.
I think that's well said. As other photographers ask you for advice?
Yeah, actually, last night I had a couple of people ask for advice, and when I mentioned how I'm not very good when people say, I see all your stuff and I'm a big fan, I don't know how to react with stuff like that. It's brand new. So, but I try not be, for me, you hear so many stories of like footballers and retired wrestlers that are genuine arses. And I don't want to be an arse. Like, if I can give people time, I will. And if I can give people advice, I will. Whether it's good advice, I don't know. But I'll just tell them what I've learned. So I had someone come up to me asking about help for videography and how to get more involved with wrestling videography. And I just told them how I got in. Just keep showing up to Kingdom Wrestling. Try and show something that they've never seen before, rather than just going around a ring and filming it. What can you do differently? So I showed him how to use. He's got like a DJI Pocket 3, and I showed him a little setting to use where if you like say, because I love that. The best thing about Kingdom was the entrances, like the sparkles. The sparkles make unreal shots. So I was saying to the gentleman there, like, just do this little orbit shot that you can do on a DJI. Just use that for an entrance, and I guarantee you that'll be something completely different. And it just almost blew his mind. And I thought, you know what, fair, because I'm not here to go, there you go, Heel Turn Media, top dog. The dog's bollocks. Come on, there you go. You know what I mean? No, I'm not all for that. Not at all. I'd rather go, was that helpful? Was that okay? And if they say absolutely yes, I'll go, okay, message me if you need anything else. And people even like messaging to say, like, how do I do this edit? How do I do this transition? How do I get started with a camera? What cameras do you recommend? Look, I'm no camera expert. I used Google, YouTube, and a little bit of Gemini to help me figure out what camera is going to be best for me. And it pointed out towards the camera that I've got now, a Sony a7-600, which cost a fortune. But I'm a firm believer of, hey, man, if you back yourself, the camera will pay for itself eventually. So, and it was through Graps on Film who pushed me, because what he's doing is incredible. I love what he's doing. I love the opportunities that he's getting. The kid deserves the world and more, along with Mark Ashley Films, along with, I think, Hot Tag Media is a new one coming along out the blocks. And the editor with this promo stuff, unbelievable. There's so many. Yeah, there's just so, for me, there's so, wrestling media is in such a good place at the minute. It's such a good place. Robbie as well, with his company. How can I miss him out? He's had a rebrand as well. Yeah, he's had a rebrand as well. So the wrestling media world at the minute is absolutely flying. It's in such a good spot, like photography wise, like near dark photography, and Gorilla. What's the name? The name's gone.
I can't remember my name.
Gorilla. It's Gorilla in the name. I can't remember his name. Oh God. Beyond Gorilla. I'm sure it's Beyond Gorilla.
Something like that.
Yeah, and Kyle Watt Photos, who does lots of work with ICW, I think his name is. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering these names, by the way. I got in at 1 o'clock this morning, so I feel like death. I've hardly had any sleep. I sit up and watch SmackDown for about an hour, and I thought I need to try and go get some sleep here. So I don't know what the original question was, but the media aspect of wrestling at the minute is absolutely thriving, and people like Ash, even like Alex from North Wrestling, like he deserves flowers as well, because what he pumps out for North is unreal as well. So many people. Honestly, I could go on if I had names in front of us, because I could just rattling. I'm sure it's Beyond Gorilla. Never mind. it's gonna trigger me until I'm gonna text you when we come off. Yeah, like just that. This is the one. So yeah, media stuff is in a really good spot. I'm trying to take over in not an arrogant way. Is try and be the cornerstone for the Northeast, the North for wrestling, because I feel like he's clocked and locked in with the South 100%, and even Europe now, which again I love to see. He's in with France, Holland, and to see that on his CV is, yeah, the kid deserves flowers. Without him, I wouldn't have the camera I've got now. I wouldn't have had the push, the wake up call that I've got now. He and everyone else deserves the flowers. I'm just a guy with a camera who loves more than anything to be a cheerleader. I do. I genuinely love being a cheerleader. There's an account, Big John Rehab. Me and him DM back and forth all the time with ideas and just anything that can help each other out in terms of what we post. I'm not big on like trends and things that would just like get part-time or non-existent followers. But if he's got an idea for me, I'm taking it on board and say, how can I apply that to my work, and vice versa. I said to him not long ago, I think I love being a cheerleader more than I do pumping out my own stuff, because I think that if no one's back in your corner, then you're just posting to crickets, and I don't think that's fair. So whenever I see a Skylar Rose post, I'm straight in there with a like. I'll reshare it. Same with Big John. Same with Robbie. Same with Beyond Gorilla, Kyle Scott. I reckon I've got half these names wrong, by the way. Just please blame the tiredness. But like anyone in the media aspect of it, I'll quite happily support them. Throw a like, throw a share, save it, comment on it, anything to just help them get their product, their stuff in front of people. That's what I want to do. I think I prefer that than posting stuff, and because it's stressful posting, 100%, 100% stressful. Because, excuse me, what I've noticed in the social world, now I'm going off on a tangent here. The social world, everyone's fixated on click clout and like clout and what can I do to generate 1 million followers. I don't like that. That's what I mentioned before. I don't like doing trends. I don't like doing subject things that are irrelevant to what I post. I just want to post video clips and photos, and if people like them, great. If it's made to portfolio building stuff, because there's so much misinformation about what to post and what you should post and what you shouldn't post, and what the algorithm's doing, and what Tim from clickmysocialmediaaccount.com says to Sandra from click my other accounts stuff. You know what I mean? There's so much information. I just post, and if it does well, great. If it doesn't, oh well. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you're just posting for the share, like for just to get views and clicks, you're looking at stuff all wrong. Just post because you love what you do. And if you get support from me, then you've showed up on my feed, and I would love to. It's a genuine support. It's not just like, oh, here you go. It's I love what you're doing. Keep it up. Keep going with it. Like, don't give up. So yeah, I don't know what the original question was, but you got about 6,000 answers in one there, I'd say.
Nothing wrong with that. So I've obviously spoke to a lot of photographers and stuff like that, and the one which stuck with me was what James Musselwhite said. One of the best things to invest in is lenses. What do you think of that?
He's right. Yeah, 100%. I think everyone says it's the camera that makes your photos look good. Nah, the cameras help. The cameras can set. The camera can only be told what to do by you. The lens makes that bit of clarity stand out. It's almost like the way I describe it is if you're wearing glasses. Like for me, if I don't wear my glasses, everything's blurry. So if I've got like, as soon as I put my glasses on, everything's wonderfully clear. And everything's like in 4K, as they say. And it's the same with a lens. Like if you've got like a 50mm lens, you're looking at stuff like portrait, close-up stuff. If you've got like a 35mm lens, again, portrait, close-up stuff. The more and more you go out, the more distance you've got to be, but there'll always be that little crisp of look. If it depends on what you really after, really. But the lens stuff, 100%. I think I've spent more on lenses than I have on camera bodies, if I'm honest with you. I think I've only ever owned 3 camera bodies currently. And that was my first camera that I used for HD video, mainly. The second camera body was mainly for photography, and I still use that to this day. And then I've got the Sony for my videography for 4K, which is a bit of a hybrid, which it's why I got it for. But I didn't buy the camera specifically for what it does. It's the glass that helps. So yeah, 100%. It's if you're just buying the camera and you're not getting a lens with it, then you're doing it wrong. I saw Ash he was on a podcast recently how he bought his very first camera, spent all this money on a camera, and it didn't come with a lens. He thought it came with a lens.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So it's a good little story. If you watch it, go watch it. But the lens makes, for me, the lens is as important as the camera itself. The camera just collects the data and produces the photo. The glass makes it look what it looks like before you edit it. So if it's a portrait, it'll be crisp, in focus, blurred background, all that lovey-dovey stuff that everyone loves to see. The bokeh background and all that stuff. 100% the glass. Fully agree.
So what's some advice you give, obviously, up-and-coming photographers? Because obviously when this goes out, people might watch it.
Like I mentioned, just don't be shy. I think if you're gonna get involved with photography, whether it's in sport or wrestling, you just gotta ask. Just ask. Just keep and keep asking. Not like every week, but like give it every 6 months or so. Just go back and go. Just reaching out again. Is it possible to be part of a media team for a show? Be prepared to work for free to get started. If you're going in there and looking for immediate payment, then you're doing photography for the wrong reasons. For me, I think if I had unlimited money, I'd do this gig for free. I'm sure John Cena has said the same, where he would wrestle for free, but he's just been fortunate by getting money for it. And I would do the same for wrestling videography and wrestling photography. If I had unlimited amounts of money, if I was a multi-millionaire, I would do this for free, 100%. I mean, I do some of it for free anyways, but it's because I purely love it and I want to help wrestling companies. But I think you've got to just go in there with being brave, being patient, and being creative. You've got to have those three things for me. That's vitally important. I'm obviously having a camera, but not worrying about what the camera looks like or how many megapixels it is and how much money you're spending. I think if you're going to get started with it, invest in the camera and the lens first. And there's websites out there where you can buy pre-owned stuff. We're in a world now where we're buying pre-owned stuff now, and it's secondhand stuff's as good as brand new stuff. Yeah. You're doing yourself a favor by saving some money by buying a secondhand lens and a secondhand camera, and it might get you through a couple of years until you can afford to get a brand new camera or afford to get a better conditioned camera or lens. So for the top of the list is get yourself a camera. Doesn't have to be anything expensive. And a lens. Don't forget the lens. Memory cards as well. Message companies that you want to work for and just offer to work for free to get the ball rolling, because they will always take free media if they have the room for, and don't be disheartened if they don't have room for you or they say no. Don't be disheartened, because you can't just be or expect to be successful immediately. It took me 2 years to get to a North show or to get me to involved with wrestling. So camera, patience, bit of a thick skin, I think, for the rejection aspect of it all. Don't let it dishearten you. Let it motivate you. That's what I'm any rejection I deal with, I now turn it into motivation to go, okay, well, give me 6 months and let me try and change your mind, kind of thing, you know. Be creative is another thing. If you're going in there just completely out of ideas, then you're just not being yourself. You're not being what makes you as a photographer or videographer. You're just pointing the camera and shooting and then hitting auto. Do something different with it. Try something. Experiment. You've got that ability because you're a brand new photographer, and not everyone's expecting premium photos if you're just getting started. Or every start or journey as a photographer or a videographer, the first 100, 200, 300 photos or videos will be absolutely terrible. Guaranteed. I was right there with any beginner photographer and videographer. My first clips and photos were absolutely terrible. Like, we're looking at overexposed lakes and castles, auto settings on the camera. Yeah, that was me. Learn how to use the camera as well. I'll put that up there. YouTube again. And just enjoy it mainly. For me, enjoy it. Enjoy the process of learning how to use a camera. It sounds sad, but it is genuinely a joy to learn how to use a camera, and you do buzz off it because you learn how these different functions and buttons and things like that. It is a genuine pleasure to learn how to use this camera. And then when you've taken the picture and be like, well, I taught myself how to do that. That's amazing. And then the end product is just a bonus. So for me, to sum that up, it's just, enjoy it.
I love it. So what's the goal of this for you now, man? I mean, obviously you're branching out. You've obviously been at Kingdom. Do you want to branch out even further?
Hell yeah. Yeah, if I can I've got Europe on my list. Why not? Why not? Do you know what I mean? Just reach for the stars. I know it sounds so like LinkedIn, but like just reach for the stars. What's stopping you? Like for me, this year kind of was like a bit of a wake up call to be right. If I'm going to take this seriously, then I'm going to have to be more serious. I can't just be expecting to be at North and Wrestling Newcastle at every show. I'm not at those shows. So what can I do now? Can I go to Kingdom? Can I go to ICW? Can I go to Target Wrestling? Can I go to Cork? Can I even get in a look into France, to Holland, to Spain, to Italy? Do you know what I mean? What's stopping me? So for me, the motivation there, it's almost like a fire's being lit following that week to say, right, well, this is your chance to go out and show what you're made of, show what you are capable of, and how you can help top end wrestling shows to shows who are just getting started out or have or not well known. You know, the way I would say it is, for me, I would look at wrestling shows as only way I would describe it is football leagues. So things like North, Rev Pro, Progress, True Grit, all those ones, ICW, they're like Premier League teams. I would work from Premier League to say a League One or League Two-esque wrestling company. I'd do it because I love wrestling, first and foremost. I'm passionate about wrestling. I want to put wrestling on the map that may not have the capacity to have a videographer like me come in and go, let me deal and show some clips and photos of your show and give you clips to use rather than you putting a poster out every couple of weeks and hoping for the best. If I can send stuff to them to go, this is what our wrestling show is about. Yeah, go. Thank you, Heel Turn Media, for this. But if it puts bums on seats and generates extra income for not only wrestlers with the merch, but also the show itself, that's big for me. I'm genuinely more hyped about helping the smaller shows. I don't like that term, smaller shows, but you know what I mean. The shows that don't get the budgets of other shows and have to scrape by a week on week and can't put on cards like other shows can. They have like wrestlers coming through academies and stuff like that, where the green and they're just finding their way through wrestling. I don't mind coming and showcasing that. It puts them on the map and it puts them on the map for other companies to come and take a look at if they're a good wrestler, or if they're just trying to find the feet to deal with, oh, I've got a bit of pressure to not only perform in front of my friends and family and fans, there's a camera guy right in my grill in that corner. I need to put on a good show here. So this, I don't know, moonsault needs to be executed perfectly. That turnbuckle move needs to be spot on. The suplex needs to be absolutely ace. That for me is for an extra incentive for me. It's to showcase other shows like Shields Pro. I had no idea Shields Pro was about until I just started looking around and just looking for different shows and asking, can I come along? Yeah, get yourself along. So the target wise for me is just going above and beyond. If I can't get to shows like Kingdom, ICW, like wrestling across an island and in Europe as well, that's a big one for me. The big goal for me is like anyone else is to work in an AEW or a WWE. For me, TNA, anything like that, to offer my perspective of they have in place a specific operation of how they film and shoot wrestling. But if the likes of me and Ash can come along and even Mark Ashley can come in and mix up how wrestling looks now, or how we think it should look, to what it is now, then I'll be buzzing with that. But yeah, the sky's the limit for me. I've got nothing to really hold us back to just push on. If people want to follow the journey, they can. I'm not begging for followers or begging for bookings. Like, just come and have a look what I'm doing. If I tick boxes, cool. Give me a message and I'll be more than happy enough to come along to your show. But I would love to just be around as many events as I possibly can. I have set a target personally of getting to at least one show a month, at least one show, because I didn't do that last year. I just relied on North and wrestling in Newcastle. That's all I relied on. I just relied on getting stuff from one show and then the other. I didn't really do any other shows, and that's partially my fault for being comfortable, really. But now I've got this opportunity to go and be brave and branch out, like I mentioned before, and just asking people, can I come over? Is there any room for me to get in with a media team? Things like even like All-Star Wrestling, which people might not be aware of. I didn't realize they were around until I saw they were going to be up here locally. And Gangrel was there, and a clip of Gangrel is produced one of my most highest performing content I've got right now across both social media platforms, which is great. So people are seeing that and following because of what I'm doing. I love it. It's great. It's just nice to have. It's nice to have people say this looks great, but it always makes me go into my shell because I'm not great at getting compliments and not great at being told good job, man. I'm like, oh, cool. But it's also just nice to just show that my creativity aligns with people and it kind of ticks boxes, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's a perfect thing to end on. Michael, it's always a pleasure, mate. Is there anything you'd like to plug, bro?
Just anything heel turn media wise, just come follow me on heel turn media at heel turn media __. I'm on TikTok as well. So if you want to come for the journey, I'm not going to come begging for followers or bookings, but if you love your wrestling and you like to see a different perspective of it, then give myself a follow. Graps on Film, Mark Ashley Films, Hot Tag Films. Off the top of my head, Beyond Gorilla, give them just look up as many wrestling medias as you possibly can and give them a follow because what we as a media people are doing, I think gets recognition, but I think deserves a bit more recognition because the wrestlers do a wonderful job of putting on the show. It's down to us to make them look good and put them out there. So just follow me if you want to, but just go out and look for people like Graps on Film, like Mark Ashley Films, like Beyond Gorilla, like just everyone involved in social media. Just have a look on the media team and yourself as well, because what you do is fantastic for not just indie wrestlers, but for people like me to come on and let me come on and just try and put myself over a bit more. We need more people like you to come on and just invite us media folk to come on there and just talk about what we do and what we love to do. So thank you.
No problem, mate. Like I said, I mean, if you're watching this, do you know what I mean? Reach out, do you know what I mean? I will always welcome anybody on the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, you may see a little QR code above, obviously, Michael's head. If you scan that QR code, that will take you to his Instagram. You can go and support him. Easy enough.
Oh, what a legend. Look at this. Look at this embracing technology. It's mad, isn't it? 10 years ago, if someone said, follow the QR code. If you follow this QR code, you'll get all these links and stuff. It's mad. What madness.
Absolutely, man.
I'm showing me age, I'm showing me age.
And one final thing for me, bro. You've probably know this before. Everyone gets to do the outro. You can say anything you want. You can promote anything you want, mate, and we'll end the show. Michael, take it away.
Follow every single social media person who works in wrestling. Give them some flowers. Give them a follow without having wrestling wear nothing, to be honest with you. So follow us. Give us some love. Be our cheerleaders. But also follow your local indie shows, because I know there's a gripe with some wrestling at the minute. Go and throw your money at indie shows if you can't afford to go to mainstream shows, because I know they'll benefit it. Look at different shows. Look at websites. Look at social media. Indie wrestling's in such a good place right now, particularly British wrestling. Give everyone a follow. Just show some love. That's all I want. Just a lovely person.
Cheers for watching, guys.